You are listening to our Bamsters podcast. Milk is for babies. When you grow up, you have to eat bacon.
And we're back. It's the third episode of Bamster's podcast, Rated R, and it's our Christmas episode with movies and gaming. My name is Christian, but you can call me G, and my co-host today is a large volume of cider, Mr. Bam Havoc. Say hi, Bam.
Hey G, how are you? Yes, dude, I am doing fine. I have drunk myself into a stupor, and much cider and bacon was consumed. Yes, many animals sacrificed themselves to my Christmas enjoyment.
Sweet. Well, we kept it simple here at least, but some glögg was consumed. So, since it's Christmas, I guess the standard is to sit around and watch movies and play video games.
That's what you do after Christmas. You just lounge around watching TV, playing video games. That's all you do. That's what I do. That's what I'm doing now.
Well, let me ask something. Before Christmas, we had a new movie coming out. Well, we didn't. Somebody did. Disney did. It's the Star Wars, and I guess that's the rage these days. Did you get to see it?
Yes, I saw it, and I thought it was rather Mickey Mouse. I didn't enjoy it. No, sorry. Next one, please.
Okay, so you thought it's Mickey Mouse as in Disney, and Jar Jar Abrams went all in on keeping it Walt Disney-ish?
Well, you see, there's the thing. You see, Disney's always been about family and stuff like that. Star Wars isn't about families and whatever have you. It's meant to be mean and gritty and dangerous, and you're meant to feel scared for your bloody life, you know, when you watch it. I mean, when I was a young kid and I watched Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 for the first time, Darth Vader was the meanest cat on the block. Now it's this new emo kid, and he's like, dude, my 2-year-old daughter could beat you shitless. It's like, you're not scary at all, bro. You know, you meant to instill some fear within me. I thought it was terrible. But that's just me.
Well, did you at least see any options for new Disney princess costumes and events at the Disney parks?
You see, that's another thing. I honestly think this is just a whole big marketing gimmick. You know, a whole big advertisement for a whole new line of toys and things that are coming out. So that's what I think this is really about. Not about expanding the universe of Star Wars. You know, it was terrible. I thought it was very bad. But again, gee, it's just me. I'm quite cynical when it comes to these sorts of things. I still prefer 4, 5, and 6 over 1, 2, and 3. But I like the original version rather than the CGI make up version. You know, that's just me. Sorry, didn't enjoy it. Sorry. I know many people have. They said it was great. Jar Jar Binks or Abrams, whatever, did a very good job. You know, I prefer him in the Star Trek films. I like the new Star Treks. But, you know, hey, whatever.
Well, let's touch on Star Trek in a moment, but first, Adam, so first, if you say this is made for merchandising, I would definitely say that's right up the alley, because merchandising with movies started with Star Wars 4, 5, and 6.
I actually remember my dad telling me that he bought himself a whole lot of, well, his parents bought him actually, a whole of these Star Wars toys. And when he came to get them, they were just empty boxes with a certificate saying that when they, you know, toys actually came out, he had to send away for them. You know, and that's how he got them. He sent off his request form about which toys and whatever he got and what he wanted and whatever have you, and they all got posted to him. You know, because they didn't have enough demand or whatever. I remember that story like that. But when you watched Star Wars for the first time, you know, and you saw Darth Vader, you knew he was a scary dude. He wasn't a scary dude this time around. The new baddie is actually some emo kid that's... yeah. So yes, cynical me, yes, I did enjoy it. I thought Harrison Ford was the best thing about that whole film. That was it. Harrison Ford, and Chewbacca. That was it. Honestly, everything else was just there as background noise. I'm being very cynical. I'm sorry, I didn't enjoy the film.
Well, I guess we're going to get a lot of complaints on this one, but hey, I haven't bothered watching it yet, so I don't really have an opinion.
Nah, look, I like my Star Wars and Star Trek. I'm a fan of both genres. A lot of people are either one or the other. I like both. I've always been that way. Yeah, well, not impressed with this new Star Wars film at all. So they need to do better. Make it more gritty, more dark, more real. Not airy-fairy, pink and fluffy kiddies. They need to make it darker, more gritty, more real, more... The heroes are gonna die. And they need to die, you know? Some of them need to be shot off, you know? Do like a Shakespearean tragedy. Kill a few off, you know? But like Game of Thrones. Yeah, there we go. Throw some Game of Thrones in there. Done.
Well, in that case, I recommend you watch The Expanse instead. It's just a new TV series. which is kind of Game of Thrones in space, but I hope we'll catch that one a little bit more next time.
Oh, I'm watching Elementary currently on Sky. That's actually pretty good as well.
Well, you did mention Star Trek, and looking forward into 2016, we have Star Trek Beyond on July 22nd, and it's another one of these reboot movies.
You don't like these reboot movies, do you?
As far as I'm concerned, there hasn't been a Star Trek movie in 13 years, mate.
I love these new Star Trek films. It breathes new life into the whole Star Wars-y world and whatever, because it was getting pretty dull and pretty boring and pretty silly. You know, this new series and this new timeline is great. I'm loving it. Not so much the lens flare, but, you know, Abrams has calmed down on the lens flare bits, and he has trolled with it as well. You know, I think that's quite humorous where you can take the criticism and then dish out some trolling as well. That's quite clever. So props to Abrams for that. Yeah.
Yeah, they are nice. They are pretty movies, but there's a reason why the next one, instead of being Star Trek Beyond, sounds like it'll be the Star Trek and the Furious or something. They're pretty and they're fancy and a lot of fast action, but they have nothing of what made Star Trek Star Trek. They have nothing of the environment and the political and social values that were in the original Star Trek, all the happiness and joy that were there. So no, they're pretty, but they're empty.
So you say it lacks emotional construct. Well, fair enough. You know, they've got to build on this world, because if you go now and watch Star Trek, the TV series, because that's where it ultimately started, you know, they had time to develop each character. They had time to develop the Klingons, the Romulans and stuff. They had time to develop the evilness that the Romulans have and the cunning that the, I was going to say Cylons then, but, you know, they had time to develop all these bits and pieces. In the movie, they can't really develop that. They just got to show it. You got to know from previous experience that the Romulans are bad, Spock is good, Klingons, warriors. You know, you just got to know these things. What they're doing with the new Star Trek thing is what they're doing with the Avengers thing. They are building on previous films, and they're moving forward with each film, and each film is going to be bigger and better. So yes, I reckon that's what they're doing.
Well, at least they followed an old tradition, with every other Star Trek movie being shy, and yeah, the first one was bad, but the second one was properly shy.
So it's gone from bad to worse to terrible.
Well, that should mean the next one will be just bad instead of horrible.
So it's a sliding scale.
There was one good thing in the last ones. Simon Pegg, at least, that was worth watching, but
I like Simon Pegg. He is a good actor. He's getting himself out there, isn't he, old Peggy boy? My favorite film from him so far is Run Fat Boy Run. That's my favorite film from him so far. Definitely that.
Well, he might be the comic relief, but he's also pretty much the best thing in those movies, in my opinion. Well, looking into 2016, we have more movies, particularly comic book movies are all the rage these days. 7 new ones just in 2016 and a bunch more in 2017.
Well, it's about time they brought out these comic book movies. I mean, I was past tense. I haven't read a comic book in, about 12 years now. But yeah, you know, I used to love my old comic books. You know, I used to love them. They should bring out more. And I believe the Batman vs. Superman is coming out soon, isn't it? With a first live screen version of Wonder Woman. Yay!
Yes, there's the Batfleck vs. Superman movie, and you're correct. We finally get to see a Wonder Woman in a live-action movie. Yoo-hoo!
Did you just say Batfleck?
Batfleck, yes. That seems to be the nickname that's going around.
Batfleck. He's actually quite a heavy comic book guy as well, isn't he? Old Ben Affleck.
Oh yeah, he's a super nerd, definitely. But I guess he's been waiting for this role for a long time.
Who hasn't? What 12-year-old kid doesn't want to be Batman? He is 12, isn't he? Ben Affleck? He's 12?
He looks like he's 12.
There you go.
Well, you're correct. We get Wonder Woman, which, if you look at the comics, she's actually the same height and pretty much same build as Superman. But the actress they chose, Gal Gadot, as I'm told she's pronounced, is easily, 30 centimeters shorter than the actor playing Superman. So something's a little bit amiss. She's Amazonian. She's supposed to be tall and, well, let's say rugged.
She looks like a short anorexic twig. It's like, hang on, you're going to snap on half the first time you come against a bad dude. You know, I really don't see why they cast that chick. Amazonians are meant to be strong, they're Amazonians for Christ's sakes. I read some Wonder Woman comics, actually my sisters read them and I kind of picked them up when I was bored, read them as well, Hell, she was a beast. I actually remember a little toy that was sold, and it was Wonder Woman's invisible jet. And my sister, to this day, still hasn't opened it. But now in this Batman vs. Superman film, the League of Justice or whatever have you, she looks like an anorexic twig that's going to be snapped in half at the first fight. No, Wonder Woman is a beast. You've cast a skinny chick. No, wrong casting completely. She's not even. Yeah. But that's it. Fine. Batfleck is there. Superman is there. Wonder Woman's there. It's all good as long as we get a Wonder Woman on the big screen. That's all that really matters, I suppose. Yay.
Well, let me kind of pull this up against the Deadpool movie that's coming out, and I think a lot of people are really looking forward to it. Interestingly enough, in the Deadpool movies, if you saw the trailer that just came out this Christmas, like I think 3 days ago, they have an actually strong, physically well-built woman playing a strong, let's say, very physical woman. They didn't go for, something small, petite, and cute. They went for, this is a character that's supposed to be a bodybuilder. Let's get a bodybuilder. Let's actually cast somebody who has the body type for it instead of somebody who's pretty.
I completely agree there. I'm cutting you up there, G, but I completely agree with you. They should have cast someone who's the same height, same build, and not a twig. I agree. Totally agree, G. Good, well done. Good point.
Nothing against Gal Gadot. She's pretty, and she can be pretty badass as well. Just look at the Fast and Furious movies. She pulls it off. She just doesn't quite fit into the Wonder Woman image. But hey, let's watch the movie and let's see how that actually plays out. It might be that it's perfect.
I totally agree. Perhaps she might just surprise us all and blow it out the park. She did very well in Fast and Furious. I thought she acted the part very, very well. But again, remains to be seen. I'm a little bit skeptical because it's not who I would have cast as Wonder Woman.
You're listening to a Bamsters podcast. Wer hört sich den Schmarrn eigentlich an?
Yo, and indeed, yo. Hello there, my name is Booker, and for some unfathomable reason there are those out there that consider my opinion about stuff worth listening to. I think that tells us more about their mental fragility rather than my ability to cohesively comment on anything at all, but being the nice kind of guy that I am, I've agreed to record my dulcet tones here for your delectation. For those of you with taste or better things to do in the next few minutes, fast forward is normally positioned just to the right of the play button that you are now regretting you pushed in the first place. Still here? Okay then, better give you something to listen to. This week I shall be casting my red-rimmed, blinking, sunlight-starved eyes over the fast-approaching, hotly anticipated VR explosion. Explosion, I hear you say? Bit over the top, aren't you? Well, good people, if you were ever going to trust the word of a complete stranger on a small-time podcast, now's the time to go all in. I've never owned a Betamax, I've never played a HD DVD, and I've never ever played on a Wii. I know my stuff. Joking aside, all the big boys have come out to play with VR, and they've all brought their own toys. The choices for us poor confused consumers are already mounting up. All have their pros and cons, but which one will suit you? Turns out that, as usual, it'll all be down to how much cold hard cash you want to blow on a punt. Yes, I said punt. VR may be a sure thing in my opinion, but not every version of it is going to make it past baby steps and trot confidently into the wide, comforting arms of daddy paying customer. Oh, and just so things get extra confusing, it doesn't stop at VR. Throw augmented reality into the mix, and those of you with enough foresight may already be thinking, why on earth are we bothering with VR at all? The potential for AR is mind-boggling. If you ever wanted to be on a holodeck from Star Trek, then AR is where it's at, and there is at least one company out there that may be close to enabling you to live that dream. So, who are our main players? Well, the loudest, cockiest kid on the block is, of course, Oculus Rift. Bought by Facebook for $2 billion to an absolute shitstorm in 2014, the Rift has benefited enormously from the investment Mark Zuckerberg had brought to the table. There is a fantastic amount of cynicism directed at this corporate buy-up, but when someone who has tens of billions of loose change burning a hole in their back pocket states they are absolutely sure this new medium has a huge future, and he intends to be at the forefront of it, then I'm pretty sure there's going to be some benefits for us little guys. Zuckerberg has the platforms to bring VR and AR to the masses, Facebook, Messenger and Instagram to name a few, and he can throw all the advertising he likes through those platforms. Fill your boots, Mark. As long as we can get into a VR game environment without immersion breakage, then Facebook acquisition makes us all winners. The development of the Rift has taken great leaps in the last year, and I don't believe it would be coming to market early in 2016 without the investment Facebook poured into the company. And that would have made the poster boy for VR late for its own party, as other headsets also make it to market early next year. One of those headsets is the HTC Vive, powered by Steam VR. Looking like a fierce contender to the Rift, the Vive touts itself as the only headset designed for you to be able to move around in your VR environment, in a room up to 15 foot by 15 foot. It, like the Rift, uses external sensors to detect where you are in space, but the word from Oculus is that their headset is designed primarily as a static experience. Additionally, there is the perennial problem of motion sickness when wearing a VR rig, and it's not clear whether moving around in a headset will make this better or worse. And don't get me started on the health and safety issues connected to running around in your own room you can't see. Ha! Vive definitely sounds intriguing, especially with Valve behind it, but I gotta say, if you're already worried about how much of a dork you'll look in a Rift, the Vive won't do you any favours. Our little list of early contenders will not be complete without our good friends at Sony. Project Morpheus is also due to hit the streets early next year, and it hasn't disappointed those lucky enough to try it out at E3 and other shows this year. It clearly has the most distinctive look of all the headsets heading our way, and has been designed in such a way that the weight of the device is through the head and not on the face, and the eyepiece can quickly be moved up to look around without removing the whole headset. Sony has been careful to stress that they intend for their VR to be an inclusive medium with others not wearing the headsets as much as an exclusive immersive VR headset, and has demonstrated several so-called party games to this end at shows this year. The general consensus of opinion is that you do get a graphics hit on Morpheus, but in reality, why would we expect anything else? When it releases next year, we'll probably pay roughly the same as what a PS4 costs, and if you already have a PS4, then it becomes a no-brainer. Especially when one of the most hyped, and rightfully so as I understand it, VR experiences would be available as a launch title. Eve Valkyrie, of course. So this is where cold hard cash intrudes on our VR fantasy. Worst case scenario on PS4 is that you have to buy a console and a headset, and I expect they'll be bundled together for a saving of some sort. You take a hit on the graphics probably, but you're ergonomically sound, baby, and the bank manager is not sticking pins into a voodoo doll with your selfie stuck to it. Worst case scenario for the Rift and Vive is that you have to spend $1,000 on a PC with good enough specs to handle them, then you've got to buy the headsets themselves. From zero to fully equipped, you're going to double your expenditure compared to console, and that's a big ask. If, like me, you already have a PS4 and a fully spec PC, then you have a dilemma. Which one to buy first? LOL! Oh well, must include. It's not nice. But, what about Microsoft and Xbox, I hear you ask? Well, with Oculus optimised for use with Windows 10, Microsoft has its PC customers covered. And with Xbox now also running on Windows 10, I have a hunch that Xboxes are going to be alright. Microsoft themselves are leaving this party to others and have jumped ahead straight to the world of AR, a destination I feel we'll all meet up at again and stay at for a long time. Exciting times ahead, my friends. I'll keep popping back to give you more heads up on VR goodness, and next time I'll talk up some AR too and tell you exactly where you might find that nearest thing to a holodeck you'll see this side of the Enterprise. It's been real. See ya!
You are listening to our Bamsters Podcast. Haben die Leute eigentlich nichts Besseres zum Tun?
I need to talk about something right now, and I'm going to talk about the Christmas hack sauce. Yes, once again, the PSN was hacked. Yay! Many people were forced to spend Christmas Day and Boxing Day and all that jazz with their families. Oh no. Looks like a wannabe copycat Lizard Squad hacker dudes completely down the PSN. Again.
Well, let's get some items straight. One, there was no hacking done. This was just people DDoSing and throwing a lot of data around on the internet. No hacking, mate. And they didn't actually manage to get PSN down. It's up and looking right now, yeah. No errors reported, no issues reported.
Alright, I was under the impression the PSN, EA, Steam was knocked offline by, what they call themselves, Phantom Squad or some nonsense?
Okay, well, let's take this apart and say, yes, there's a group called Phantom Squad who promised to take down EA and PSN and Xbox Live. They managed to take down EA for, I think it was 3 hours. And they managed to cause some kind of disturbance on PSN briefly, but apparently that did not last.
Oh, right. So you're telling me they failed?
It seems that way, but again, they rented a bunch of bots on the internet and threw a DDoS at somebody. I say they failed the moment they started.
Oh, so what you're saying is that they had a huge cup of fail sauce. So it was a Christmas hack sauce fail, was it? So they didn't do a Lizard Squad. All right. Well, awesome. Failures.
Well,
all of them. Fail.
Lizard Squad basically just did the same thing. They didn't hack anything either. They just got a bunch of data sent around, a bunch of broken packets sent to...
Okay, whoa. Tell me what the difference is, because to me, it just... Hacking is hacking. It's a broad brush off, but just painted this whole thing in. What did they do, and what the hell is a DDoS attack? Because every time you say DDoS, I just think it's a fancy word for MS-DOS, back in the old days.
Yeah, no, it's a different kind of DOS. It's not an operating system. It's a distributed denial of service. So it's a way of... let's say somebody gets enough Jehovah's Witnesses to come to your door and knock on your door and ring your doorbell. And every time they do it, you have to open the door and check that it's not the pizza guy. Meanwhile, the pizza guy cannot deliver his pizzas because there's all these Jehovah's Witnesses ringing your doorbell. That's a denial of service. The pizza guy is denied service of your door.
Ah, right. So Phantom Squad are Jehovah's Witnesses, and PSA was Pizza Guy. I like my Pizza Guy all of a sudden.
Yeah, Lizard Squad, Phantom Squad, kids with scripts, they basically just hired a bunch of people to pretend to be Jehovah's Witnesses and come and ring people's doors, in this case, Sony's door and EA's door. And meanwhile, EA didn't get any pizzas.
And rightly so. EA doesn't deserve any pizzas. They're an evil corporation. Please make Battlefield 5 awesome, EA.
Oh, let's face it, they're corporations. Aren't they supposed to all be evil?
Yeah, all corporations are evil, I agree.
Yeah, if you read some of the stuff these guys put out on Twitter, and frankly don't, because you'll literally get stupider. But it seems to be...
You get dumber every time you read their tweets. They just failed. So basically what you're saying, G, to me, is that they set out to do something. Big talk, no action. They tried something, they failed. Great.
Well
done,
in
guys.
Phantom Squad's case, they did take EA down for about 3 hours until EA went, why are we getting a lot of traffic? Let's switch over to the different line. Ooh, no more issues. And if you really want to see it, there's a company called Norse Corp. So go to map.norsecorp.com and you can see these kind of attacks as they're happening pretty much real time. And it looks like people shooting guns at each other. It's fun to watch. And it's probably not so fun for EA having to go, oh no, can we switch over to the other line? Yeah, done. Well, if you want proper fail, I think Steam did it this time. A different group, also some script kiddies, also completely new ones, also people who look up to Lizard Squad. They declared they would attack Steam this Christmas for whichever reason. You know, again, look at us, we don't have penises, something like that. Steam did go down, but then Steam did something interesting. They changed their caching settings. They went in and said, oh, we'll just change how our server behaves, and it takes images of pages and then sends those cached images instead of redoing the pages all the time. The attack was a bit different, so they needed something else than what EA had done. The only problem was these cached pages ended up being sent to the wrong people, meaning if you logged into Steam, you could get a page that was generated for somebody else. All of a sudden, people were seeing various private details belonging to other people.
My pepperoni and anchovy pizza didn't arrive, so I got given a pineapple pizza instead. Okay. Right.
Along with a bill from somebody else or the receipt for somebody else that had their phone number and their email address and various other small bits and pieces on it.
Ah, I see. Right. Okay, so basically I got somebody else's bill, paid for their pizzas, and didn't get any of my pizza. Okay, right.
And now somebody else is having details of your credit cards.
Interesting. I'm going to go change those details right now.
Well, again, this is still ongoing, or it's winding down now. Valve has come out and say there was no critical data leaked. What has been shown to be leaked is that its email address, parts of phone number, parts of credit card numbers and credit card digits, and whether people are using Steam Guard. It's bad that it's there, let's put it that way, but it could be worse.
Okay, right. So it was basically this group of script kiddies went in to throw eggs at someone's house, whilst the Jehovah's Witnesses were knocking on the door, scare the Jehovah's Witnesses away, and the pizza guy, who was so backed up with information, basically gave me the wrong pizza and gave me somebody else's bill. Okay, well, that's how I understand it. Awesome.
Okay, yeah, that seems close enough.
Yep. Cool, that makes sense. That makes total sense to me. Yep. Script kiddies throw eggs. Phantom Squad is Jehovah's Witnesses, and my game is a pizza man. That's perfect description. Perfect description.
And I know some people went out and unlinked PayPal and stuff from their account. According to what we're hearing from Valve, you didn't need to do it, but truthfully, it's a good idea. Whenever anything looks like it's about to be hacked or about to be leaked, change your details. Get rid of your PayPal links. Literally, get rid of your credit cards even. Just
yeah, that's a good thing I'm going to do. Yeah, be defensive. I'm going to go and link my PayPal. I think it's a bit late for that, but yeah, I'm going to go and link my PayPal. Got quite a lot stashed up in PayPal. I'm going to go and link that bad boy. Yep.
Let's face it, the only reason they do this, I should say, they saw somebody else do it and they want to be the big guys on the block. They want to be the most elite group and with the biggest reach.
The thing is, if they want to be an elite group, 3-7, whatever have you, go do something else. Lizard Squad did it already. Go do something else, honestly.
Do something productive. Go hack the NSA.
Yeah, there we go. Go hack the NSA. Go hack CIA. Go hack the FBI. That's very productive. Yeah, for you. And yes.
Let me just, to help you understand this, the Jehovah's Witnesses they rented, you can go online, literally right now, quite to a normal webpage, where you can say, I would like to have this target DDoSed, and you pay with your PayPal or your credit card. It's openly available to anybody. If you want to call yourself a script kiddie, all you need is a PayPal account. One thing that comes out of these kind of attacks is when we see, companies like EA having games that are single-player games. Think of, Destiny, where you can run around on your own, literally. Or many other games. I think SimCity was a big one earlier, where you still need internet connection to play single-player. Well, if somebody now DDoSes the server, you cannot even play your single-player game. So it does show that there are issues in the business, both with making sure that your settings are correctly Valve, and also with ensuring that your games work even when you're being attacked.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Lizard Squad did the thing last year in the first place, is that they initially set out on a mission to troll, then it turned into like a White Knight mission to, show them how poor their systems and bits and pieces were set up. And then now this, it's like, whoa, guys, come on. I said this like 3 times already. Lizard Squad's done it already. Do something else. That's awesome.
Yeah, and the White Knight part is just white flag, mate.
Yeah, I know it was a white flag. It was nonsense. I know. It was just some nonsense troll, whatever have you. And some dude off Twitter said, I want to play Destiny. I will do whatever it takes, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, bro.
At this point, I think I'm just going to fire up my computer and play a video game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah. I'm going to go play Red Alert. Yes. I love that game, dude. Roar.
Well, that was it for our Christmas episode with movies, gaming, and some VR headsets from Booker. My name is G, and I'll talk to you sometimes in the next year. And with me, as always, was Bam Havoc.
Yes, guys, cheers. Much love. Merry Christmas to all you beautiful people out there in the internet world. Booker, thank you very much for doing the VR stuff. I learned quite a bit. Much love to all you beautiful people. Bacon and beautiful everybody. Cheers, guys. Bye.
See you in 2016.
See you in 2016. I'm going to get drunk. Wah!